Good afternoon and welcome to the Rose of Sharron Sanctuary. We have a wonderful guest with us here today. This is Claudia Thompson, who is a master lunar astrologer. In fact, let's get this a little more there. Good. And she is going to share with us today some of the amazing astrological positions and what is going on. And we know that that God created the heavens and the earth, and that there is a celestial body that does have an influence. So I will be setting the tone, and hopefully this says StreamYard live viewer comment show. So, I've been trying to get rid of it, but it's still there. Hopefully that we can release this, but it's not going away. So perhaps let's just scoot up a bit, and then, ow, oh, so sorry.
It's not your.
Okay, here we are. And I'm going to set the tone. And I invite you just to share with me. This is the chant from the Gandhi Foundation. And I just invite you to move along with me. This is a crystal bowl. And it resonates to the heart chakra. And remember that the heart is the doorway to the soul, right? The doorway to the soul. So just, Claudia, lean in and we'll get everything. See this? This is what goes under it, so it creates a sound. And today I have a book on my lap so that we really get the energy of the crystal ball. Usually at Wednesday Night Live, I share the symbols that also resonate. They're the Tibetan symbols, but today we have our Tibetan bowl. So I'm going to be offering the chant from the Gandhi Foundation. Just repeat after me if you feel comfortable doing that. And if you don't want to share it audibly, just to yourself, place your hand on your heart, feel the beating of your heart. And I believe we were given a heart so that we would live moment by precious moment, beat by precious beat. All right, I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from a higher source.
My wisdom flows from a higher source.
I salute that source in you.
I salute that source in you.
Come, let us work together.
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 And we know that right now, somewhere in the world, a Jew is saying her prayers, a Hindu is chanting a mantra, and a Buddhist is kneeling at her sacred shrine. Right now, at this very moment, someone is lighting a candle in a cathedral, someone is making their Hajj toward Mecca, and someone else is lighting a fire in a jungle, repeating an ancient mystical drama. Many, many pathways up the mountaintop, and the view is always the same from the summit. And so it is, and so it shall be. Yes. And I want to correct this because I'm having the feeling that when this everything is said and done, that this StreamYard, it's like a StreamYard promo, is going to get in the way. So I'm wondering if you move the drum and then we can lower this. And if we lower it, I think that will be better. Okay, good. And then we lean in.
There we are.
Yeah. So that at least you can see us. And I have this beautiful drum that was made for me. And I oftentimes put the computer on the drum. It's like we're drumming up the energy of the universe, right? So just lean in so they can see your beautiful face. And Claudia is going to share with us some of her vital information about what's going on now with the energy of the eclipses and the positions of the planets. I just always think it's so fascinating. And this really is a science.
Yes, it is.
It is.
It predated astronomy, actually.
Yes.
The esoteric meanings of these conscious bodies called planets came into our awareness before astronomers were able to discover it. After all, telescopes are fairly recent compared to astrology, which is 13,000 years old as far as we know, maybe more. They are finding all sorts of, actually, I saw something the other night on Chaco Canyon, narrated by Robert Redford, and I had been there years ago, but did not know this piece, that all the buildings were constructed for the arc of the sun and the moon. And there are buildings outside Chaco Canyon that correspond. So it's almost like they're speaking to each other. It's an absolute.
And that's in New Mexico.
Yes. And these are the ancient ones that built these. So
this
wisdom has been with us for a long time. And during this time, when there's so many forces that seem to vie for our attention, so many beliefs being turned upside down, if you reach for the moon, if you understand that there are 8 lunar phases of transformation in every lunar cycle, and that the timing is unerring, you don't have one month that's longer and another that's shorter. A lunar cycle is a lunar cycle. And so if you understand that, you understand the true rhythms of life. When you look all around you and you see the magnificence of the plant kingdom and the creepy crawlies and the winged ones and everything that you see, including us, we were conceived in alignment with lunar rhythms. So when you start coming into this awareness, you get healthier, you get happier, because you are stepping out of the prevailing paradigm of go, go, go into ebb and flow. So when Sharon mentioned to me today, she said, Lunar Blessings. And I thought, Lunar Blessings. And I thought, well, yes, actually there are. Lunar in our current modern day litany has to do with the subconscious. It has to do with the emotional climate that is ever there underneath everything. And over the past couple of months, particularly, we have been taking a deep dive into what lies underneath. It also has to do with the dark mysteries of life and mysticism and the ability to transform our lives when we reclaim the energy that's bound up in old hurts and old habits and patterns and old beliefs. And we are going to have a real big show around that this week, as on Thursday night at 11:44 p.m. here on the Pacific Coast, we will have a full moon total solar eclipse. So adjust the time zone if you're listening from another time zone. Again, the full moon is exact at 11:44 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's interesting because the totality of the eclipse is just 2 minutes long.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, not very long.
2 minutes.
Of course, there's a time to go in, time it comes out. You can look that up on a NASA site or some site that gives you those exact things. But I can tell you that it's not going to be visible from where we are. It'll be visible in the Antarctica, South Africa, and Africa, which I was saying to Sharon earlier, I find really interesting because we have had a new variant come up, so they say. So what are your beliefs around that? Do you believe that the body is a self-healing organism? That's a lunar blessing, because the body indeed is a self-healing organism. Not that you don't need to listen, muscle test, do things for your immune system to build that immunity. But the biggest thing is your mindset. And we've had a whole year of looking at mindset, at the fact that how you think is the way that your world shows up for you. We've had Gemini Sagittarius nodes. 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, we had a lunar eclipse in Taurus. Well, what were the blessings of that? Well, in a lunar eclipse, the sun moves between the earth and the moon. The earth moves between the sun and the moon. And so you do not get a full moon. This was a partial eclipse. We saw it from North America. It was visible in a lot of the northern areas of the world. But Taurus is the sign, it's the earthiest girl of the zodiac. It reminds us that we have 5 senses: touch, sight, sound, these wonderful senses that are to help us appreciate and savor the divine gift that this life in this body is. But it also tuned us into our values. It asked us to look at what we appreciate about life. Are we savoring our lives? Do we know how to live in alignment with the earth? And the general answer for that for all of us is no, because most of us are not living with a gigantic garden. We are not farmers. We had moved away from the agrarian knowledge and wisdom that pervaded our society at one time. And also just the things that we use every day, from plastic to, to fuel, to whatever it might be, and so you look at what you can do. Is that a value of yours? Is living sustainably on the earth a value of yours? If not, then this is a belief that needs to be turned upside down and is being turned upside down. Also, one of the biggest values that we have in our culture is around money and finances. So this lunar eclipses pop an area where you might feel an emotional lack in your life. So if you're feeling a lack of stuff, I'd be surprised, because most Americans are overwhelmed with stuff. But if you're feeling a lack in some area that you value, that has to do with your values, if you are not handling debt well, etc., it's a good time to look at these things, because this was a little preview. Next year, the overarching destiny points, and those are the lunar nodes that point to the past, what we're being asked to leave behind, walk away from, and what we're being asked to move toward, which is the north node. We're in Sagittarius and Gemini. So that's beliefs, wisdom, and communication, the media, programming. And now Taurus is the first eclipse in the new nodal position that's going to take effect in mid-January. And that's going to be Taurus and Scorpio. So Taurus is the north node, where we are heading for a deeper appreciation of the earth. Knowing you're enough, that's the big one. Knowing that you are enough, and that if you are enough, you have enough. It's not the other way around. If I have enough, I am enough. No, you are enough. You were born magnificent and divine, and you are enough, and you are a creator. So watching that self-talk, are you loving yourself? Venus is in Capricorn right now. Venus ruled that eclipse. And so it says, what's your plan? Do you have a plan? What's your vision? What do you value? Whatever your vision is, whatever your plan is, it must be aligned with your values. And our values have shifted. There are a lot of people who might have thought that, the medical profession, the pharmaceuticals were the way to go with everything. And maybe they've wakened up a little bit to the fact that, there are natural remedies. There is a lot of wonderful information out there about how to take care of yourself in this trying time. So that's one way that you can look at valuing your health a little differently, bumping it up in understanding. And it moves across the board. What do you value in your relationships? And Venus says, how do you attract what you need? Taurus says, this is what I need to be who I am. And then Venus asks you how you attract that. How are you a magnetic receptacle for what you need? Do you affirm that every day? Do you walk in gratitude? So lunar eclipses pop some of the nasty things that might be hiding in the dark. That's a lunar blessing, because then you can address it.
Exactly.
So we feel eclipses moving in, weeks, actually.
Right.
And we feel their impact for 6 months after all this lunar eclipse. Actually, we won't have another. It's been 481 years since we had this particular eclipse, partial lunar eclipse. So this gives you an idea of how long sometimes these arcs are. But a lunar eclipse, it's important that you pay attention to these portals, because a lunar eclipse impacts for 6 months in whatever area of your chart 27 degrees is located. And you can find that out. You can get a reading from me and get yourself set up for 2022. End the year in a grand style, and step into 2022, with the right timing for everything and a vision in hand. So as we look at this eclipse, it was long. That's what it was. It was the longest in 481 years. Yeah. So eclipses always have an effect for 6 months. It takes 30 to 60 to 90 days to really see what they popped for us. And so the subconscious was popped at this time of this lunar eclipse, and it's going to imprint after this time of impact. It will imprint for over 18 years in that area of your life. So that's why, it gives you a larger cycle awareness of your life rather than a digital nanosecond kind of perspective,
Exactly.
So this week, at the end of the week, as I mentioned, we're going to have a solar eclipse in Sagittarius. Now, the lunar eclipse in Taurus was at 27 degrees, as I mentioned. That has another amount of relevance. It's the second full moon out of 5 in a row we're going to have that are at 27 degrees. So 27 degrees is where the galactic center is located. That's the central sun around which our sun and galaxy revolve. So it's a big energetic position. It's massive light coming in now with the photon belt, solar flares, eclipses. We are being bombarded with light. And that's what you want to remember. That's the truth of your being. You are light.
That is the lunar blessing.
Yeah.
Because the light not only penetrates the dark, it absorbs it. It not only absorbs it, what does it do? It illuminates it. So
yes,
shadows flee away forever. But shining the light on the dark places, behold, I set before thee an open door and no man can shut it. And so as Claudia said, to walk through that portal, that open door, and that this is divinity,
yes,
in all its glory. So during this time of lunar blessings, of looking at the cleansing, purification, all of the balance, that we're going through, this is about really balancing our energies, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
And at the time of a full moon, you make a wish. New moons are for setting intentions, planting seeds. Full moons are for making a wish. So out of the values and the things that you felt and saw, what's your wish? What's your wish for the new earth? What's the wish for your new earth, for the ground that you want to stand on? It's going to provide that feeling of rootedness and security in this time when it's like we're on a moving, roiling, ship in a roiling ocean all the time. So now we come this week. First of all, we enter a new month according to the calendar that we've collectively agreed upon. And that is the month of December, the 12th month, the final month of our Gregorian year. And then on that same day, Neptune moves direct.
Mm-hmm.
So Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. And so it reminds us to really open to more compassion.
I love that.
Yeah. Random acts of kindness, practice those. That's a blessing that you can give all the time. And so oftentimes lunar solar eclipses come in pairs. Every once in a while you'll have a third one, lunar solar lunar, something like that, but that's rare. And so this year, as last year, it's the normal pattern. And so we have a solar eclipse coming up on Thursday night, 11:44 p.m. And that eclipse will be at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. So I mentioned the great central sun. I just want to finish that thought. Keep track of radical ideas that come through because they may have earning power. In Taurus, it tells you how to bring those things into the material world, make some money on them, look at finances, look at these ideas. They come through quickly because we've got Uranus in Taurus, so they come like a bolt of lightning. So you want to write them down, record them on your phone, whatever it is, but don't just dismiss them, because this new moon asks you, what's possible? What's possible that you've never even thought of? What's possible that you don't even know you could imagine? So those are 3 good things to ask yourself. And then, even more importantly, what are the beliefs that come up that tell you that it's impossible? Because that's what we've all been looking at as a culture now. We are looking at the beliefs that the Kool-Aid, as Sharon and I were talking about, the Kool-Aid that we've been drinking since we were little kids. Here, have this Kool-Aid. You've got to work 9 to 5, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You get your gold watch. I mean, no, you get to look at what life is about for you. And this solar eclipse pops new light and new information into areas where it was previously hidden. Personally, particularly where 12 degrees of Sagittarius is in your chart. Why is this 12 degrees so important? It's important because it is conjunct, not by 1 degree, but within minutes, part of a degree of the United States ascendant. And this indicates that we are moving into a new beginning regarding our identity, personally but nationally. So
Very powerful.
very, very. How do your values play into that? Do you see an equal playing field for everybody? Or do you have a fence up where you don't bless those that are of a different political affiliation or health predilection? Or do you open your heart and bless it all, knowing that it's all divine? It's all worth blessing. You know, it's like gratitude. I always say gratitude's alchemical because you're affirming abundance. And as you affirm abundance, it opens the door for more for you to be grateful for.
Exactly.
And blessings are the same way to me. It's like if you're blessing everything, those blessings are going to flow back to
They
you
are.
because you're living in an environment of blessedness.
Exactly.
So Sagittarius is the archer. And so it's like this is like a turbocharged new beginning on steroids. So it's like the archer pulls the bow back and off it goes. And Sagittarius is a centaur, half horse, half man. So the instinctual animal part, the part that knows how to take care of itself and ground, is firmly rooted on the soil. Takes us back to the lunar eclipse of the new earth. And the other, the part that's the human, is shooting the arrow off into the air to new horizons. And that's what Sagittarius wishes to do, is to expand the horizons of your mind and your world. Its ruler is Jupiter. It's telling you have a bigger vision for humanity, a bigger dream, and asks how you're going to walk that. Why did I bring up Neptune? It's not the moon, but Neptune rules illusion. It rules altered states of reality. In its detriment, it can rule drugs, escapism, addiction, and suffering. But in its high side is very high. It's connection, perpetual connection with the divine. That's what you want to cultivate. And so eclipses pop new light and new information. But again, 30 to 60 to 90 days, we're going to watch this. The grand show is about to begin, my beloveds, because we're going to watch this unfold as we have this conjunction with the United States ascendant and then the Pluto return on February 20th, where Pluto returns to the position it was occupied in 1776 when this country was born.
Very, very interesting.
And Pluto is transformation. It brooks no quarter. It's like a tree that falls in the wood. The tree, if it's an old tree, it can't get back up again. It has to go through a process of decay and composting so that the energy can be reclaimed for transformation and rebirth. And that's what we're headed for. And this is in the House of Finances and Values in the United States chart. So you see how this theme of values, and oftentimes our values come out of these, we were handed them in a lot of cases, and we're also having them continually reinforced by the media. You know, I mean, I'm very, very verbal about telling people not to watch the mainstream news, the media. It is programming. It's bought and paid for and owned. You program yourself. Neptune tells you can. Neptune also rules magic and dreams. So what's your dream? You're encouraged now to dream big, but there's a caveat. In Sagittarius with this eclipse, it says, you've got to be willing to look at the beliefs. And it's not just people who are not metaphysical. It's all of us. We're all seeing our apple cart of beliefs turned upside down. Who we thought we were, the country we think we live in, all of these things, so that we can rebuild in a way built on our values and our vision that works for everyone. So we're asked to target these beliefs so we can leave them behind. So something may pop that's not altogether pleasant, but what's being held out for us is opportunity, massive possibility, a new adventure, a brand new beginning, and the truth. You know, Sagittarius is known as the truth seeker. So what's your truth? My truth is love, that I'm connected. I'm divinely connected 24/7, whether my egoic construct decides to recognize that or not. And sometimes I run myself a very merry chase, I got to tell you, around that. But I know that that's truth, that the truth is that I was made from love, and that the way Source communicates with me is through that language. That is the language. So you get to choose. You get to choose what your beliefs are and what your adventure will be. Sagittarius also rules religion. It rules a lot of the things that our systems come out of. So it's important that we get our beliefs aligned with our values, or realigned, so that we then see clearly what the systems are that need to be rebirthed. Because Pluto in Capricorn is the decay of the systems, the destruction and rebirth of the systems. So it's a huge, huge week. You know, Sagittarius is a sign of celebration, by the way, and that's another blessing. And then when we have a solar eclipse, we have the sun move in between the earth and the moon. So, you know, so it's still in the depth of the dark. Am I correct about that? We have the moon move between the sun and the earth. Creates, anyway, a new moon. The sun and the moon are conjunct, and they're hidden. You know, the new moons always occur in the dark. So we're asked to seed our intentions in the depth of our consciousness, in faith and trust, because it's dark. We don't have light on it yet. So as we move toward the end of the year and the solstice, we're in the balsamic phase. That's the last phase of the moon, depth of the dark. The light is diminishing, and we're told to regenerate. So this is really counterculture stuff, to step back at the time of year when the energy is ramping up to go out there and buy, and do, and run. But actually the rhythms that your body and your psyche and your emotions are responding to are not that. They are in the ebb. That time when we get ready for a new year, which is actually on the solstice, the 21st of December. Right. All those Christmas holidays and things are geared around the rebirth of the light. And that's you.
Exactly. And when Jesus said, I am the light of the world, and this is Christ consciousness. So I am the light of the world. The works that I do, ye shall do also, and even greater works ye shall do. And Lord Buddha walking the earth, opening our heart to compassion, you know, the holy I am presence that goes before us and prepares the way. And as you know, where that energy leads, I will follow. It's about divine guidance, about our intuition, the energy that allows us to be in the world, but of a much higher vibratory frequency. And that's why I think that what Claudia has to share today is really valuable as we move in to this next energetic millennium, so to speak, and reevaluate and go deeper within ourselves. Because when deep speaks to deep, deep answers unto deep, right?
Right.
So I just really thank you. We just did this very spontaneously. And we're out here in my courtyard at the Rose of Sharron Sanctuary. And I just feel that we put on the description, Claudia, where you can find Claudia, you can get a reading, and you can really go much deeper into your own soul, psyche. And what is very special about Claudia is the ground of being is spiritual. And we know that there are many psychics out there and astrologers and whatever, that they operate from just the mental. But today we made the longest journey on the planet. We made the journey from the head to the heart, the 18-inch journey, the longest journey on the planet, and to open our hearts and our souls and our minds to this amazing opportunity that we have to acknowledge these lunar blessings. Just love this whole month. My theme has been about the art of blessing. And I've loved it because I've gone through some of my own challenges, and just to keep blessing and blessing everyone that I've called into the energy field that allows me to arise up, summon my warrior energy when I need it, to speak my truth, to know that my voice is being heard. You know, there's been some of that because my moon is in Scorpio, and Claudia shared that this was a Scorpio. What did you say it was? About the Scorpio energy.
Well, we've actually taken a deep dive into the basements of our souls.
Yeah.
The moon represents your soul, and Scorpio is a deep dive, and Mars is still there. So if you've got intense emotions come up, watch how you try to make them go away, as opposed to saying, what do you have to say to me? Let me know what you're trying to tell me. Because facts don't create, feelings create. So you want to look at that maybe errant emotional energy, and so you can harness it to create what you want. But there's a lot of creativity that hides in the shadow. So you do yourself a disservice if you absolutely refuse to do shadow work or to look at that aspect of yourself. After all, you're the divine, so you're everything.
I love it. I love it. So thank you so much, my
thank
beloved
you,
friend.
Sharon. Thank you.
For almost 20 years
Yeah.
now. And she has so much to offer, and I just think it's so great. So let's just, as we close out with this lunar blessing, really acknowledge the angels, the archangels, and all enlightened beings that cleanse, purify, harmonize, balance, attune, and heighten the energy field. We are so very deeply grateful that we open our hearts, our minds, and our souls to a way that allows us to be in the world, but of a much higher vibratory frequency. Thank you, Father, Mother God, for this path, for this earth walk, as we bless every living thing, from grandfather, sun, grandmother moon, sky father, earth mother, the energy of the universe that allows us to be here at this most auspicious time. And so it is. Amen.
So it is.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, each and every one of you who tuned in. We are on several platforms. We'll be sharing this with some wonderful groups as well. And so we're just going to sign off today and just bless you and thank you for your energy and your light and your love. So we will see you next time.